Hi there, welcome back to another quick and easy watercolor painting. I have a 140-pound piece of watercolor paper taped down to my board, and I would suggest that you don't use paper that's less than 140 pounds. You're not going to get a very good result. But as long as you think of it as an experiment, one of the things that I like to get people to think about their work is just as an experiment. If you think of it as just an experiment, you're going to have more fun with it. Some experiments turn out, some experiments don't turn out. Anyways, I'm just trying to paint in some sky here and get some paint bleeding to wherever it is it's going to bleed to. I'm using a 3/4 inch flat brush here, but I'm going to change now to number 4 round brush, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of Payne's gray here. I have a lot of success with Payne's gray, so that's why I use it quite often. I'm going to put in like a tree line or something quite a distance back here, and then I'm going to turn my brush and put it on lay it flat and drag it across here, sort of to give the indication of where some land might be coming down on an angle this way. So again, I'm just going to put the brush on here, get some color on it, get it going in a direction like this, and then perhaps back this way. And you see how all my tree line started to bleed there. So I'm going to pick up a little bit more Payne's gray and go across here, sort of in a descending manner across here, making it look like this hill's coming down here. And this will push that first line further back. So that first line that we put in there will look like it is quite a ways back. And now we'll put this line in. It'll look like this line of trees is in front of that. So we're building up layers here. This is what it is that I really want to teach you today, is this idea of building up layers. So we have the layer of the sky, and then we have the first tree line that went in, and then the second tree line. Then I put this in that's a little bit more concentrated, a little bit more saturated. So that's going to come forward. And then this line right here, we're going to put a little bit more of this more saturated color into this, and just let that all bleed together. Don't touch it again until this is 100% dry, okay? So that was wet on wet. Very, very wet paper, very, very wet paint, and then allowing one layer on top of another, and just pushing, it just sort of pushes one thing back. You'll see how this here looks like it's quite a ways further back than this. All right, let this all dry, and then we'll have a look at it again. Okay, so you can see where this has looked like this is a long ways back. We painted the sky first. It looks like it's a sky that's a long, long distance back. Then we have this tree line, quite a bit in the distance. And then this sort of hill and tree line looks like it's a little bit closer. And then this line right here looks like it's even closer to us. And if you put your mat on it, you can see where, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting, but I think we can do more with it. So I'm going to take my number 1 watercolor brush, and I'm going to pick up some Payne's gray. So this would be considered dry paper now. So previously it was wet on wet. This is going to be wet on dry. And I'm going to put in a few trees here. Okay, so I'm just going to put in a tree, and I'm just going to let it, pull the paint like that. I'm going to put some branches in with the tip of my watercolor brush. If that's not painting for you, you can actually take that sharpened end of your watercolor brush and dip it right into the paint and get a super fine line, okay? Just like that. I'm trying to make this look like like a tree in the wintertime. No foliage on it. And as you dip it into the paint, you'll see you don't get a line that goes very far for you. you use the brush end, you might get a little bit too wide of a line. Just like that. Okay, now if I want this trunk to be, you know, have a little bit more, be a little bit darker, I can always just go back to my pigment, take the brush end again, pick up a little bit more pigment. You know, just like that. Doesn't have to be a lot of pigment. And you know, if you make a little puddle like that, you can just draw out of it. Okay. That's not too bad at all. I'm gonna make another little, just a puddle here of pigment like that. And I'm gonna take the tip of my brush and just draw some foliage coming out of that. You know, again, it's your painting. You do whatever it is that you want to do to it. So yeah, that's about as far as I'm going to go with this. I think if we put our mat on here, you'll see that turned out pretty good. Pretty interesting little foreground. Lots of interesting stuff going on in the background. All right, I think that one worked out. Thanks for watching. If you're currently a subscriber, I thank you very much. If you're not currently a subscriber, please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment or something you want to see me paint, please leave me a comment in the comment section. I hope you have an awesome day. I hope all your paintings turn out. We'll see you again next time.